And the housing insurance crisis isn't just a problem in Florida.
People around the Bay and across the state are now being told their homeowner insurance policies will not be renewed.
State Farm says they're discontinuing coverage for some customers.
Several major carriers are pulling out of Iowa and other states.
Experts warn the collapse in the homeowners insurance industry could take down the entire housing market with it.
So let's talk about that, because the thing is not just going to be limited to Florida, because yes, we have hurricanes. We are 3 months away from hurricane season starting back up again. In fact, not even 3 months. We are 2.5 months away from hurricane season. Hurricane season starts in June and it lasts until November. That's how long hurricane season is here in Florida, right? Where the tropics start, whipping up more hurricanes and tropical depressions and things like the tropical storms coming our way. But also you have many homes that are in Tornado Alley, where they get destroyed by tornadoes, right? And inclement weather. Or you have California. What do they have? A lot of wildfires, right? So with that being said, you have all these people, whether in the Midwest, whether in the West Coast, or whether in the Southeast, like here in Florida, and in some homes in places like Georgia, South Carolina, Alabama, and Mississippi, that are constantly their rates are constantly going up, because risk assessment will raise the prices because, it's more risk because the hurricanes are becoming more intense and they're becoming more frequent because of climate change. And so therefore it's making it more expensive for you. And who has to bear the brunt? You. Are you a homeowner in Florida? Do you feel like your insurance rates are too high? Well, don't feel alone, because you got hundreds of thousands of Floridians that are with you. But guess what? The insurance companies are saying, well, things are getting too bad here and, we're not making enough money, blah, blah, blah. And yet, on top of that, they're making record profits. It doesn't make any sense. Well, let's get into this, because I think it's really important for us to do that. So I want to get into this article out of Orlando Weekly. It says Florida lawmakers question claims that insurance companies are hiding profits while claiming losses. Our purpose today is to find out if insurance companies have been allegedly ripping the citizens of Florida off, why rates are so high. Oh my goodness. It says Florida House members Friday began digging into questions about property insurance companies sending money to affiliated firms and shareholders while arguing the industry was losing money. During the 3-hour hearing, the House Insurance and Banking Committee grilled State Insurance Commissioner Michael Jaworski and former Commissioner David Altemeyer about a 2022 report that in part detailed money going to affiliated firms. The hearing came after a Tampa Bay Times Miami Herald story last month about the report, which had not been approved until lawmakers or released publicly. Lawmakers said that they should have received the report earlier, particularly as the legislature in the 2022 special session passed major changes to bolster insurers. Jaworski and Altemeyer said the report was a draft and that final version was not completed. Our purpose today is to find out if insurance companies have been allegedly ripping off the citizens of Florida off, why rates are so high. We want to find that out. That was from Representative Mike Caruso from Delray Beach. And this report is the state's attempt at determining the answer to that. Yet it is still in draft form. It's only 7 pages long. It deals with data from 2017 to 2019. Today is 2025, and as legislator, that's outrageous. And we're getting something that's so antiquated and so full of flaws. Jaworski, who became commissioner in 2023, said he became aware of the report late in 2024, and he said that regulators would produce an updated report if the legislator wants it. So let's continue on here. It says a 2022 report conducted by the State Office of Insurance Regulation by Risk and Regulatory Consulting, LLC, involved 53 insurers and looked at issues such as income payments to affiliates and shareholder dividends. When excluding companies described as outliers, the report said that companies reported an aggregate net loss of $432 million from 2017 to 2019. But it said net income of affiliate firms was $1.8 billion. The discussion on Friday primarily centered on what was known as managing general agents, which are firms affiliated with insurance companies. Insurers pay managing general agents, or MGAs, to perform many day-to-day tasks such as issuing policies and managing claims. So Hillary Castle, representative from Dania Beach, an attorney who represents consumers in lawsuits and insurers, questioned how regulators could have received such a report and not pursue issues related to affiliates. Well, I mean, let's be real. Like, how many of these insurance companies have politicians in their pockets? Like, this is Florida, baby. Like, there's corruption all up and through this state. So, of course, the insurance companies are going to have politicians in their pockets, including local and state. Like, all right. All right, let's continue. It says the problem with managing general agents and your affiliates has existed in the state for a very long time. Jaworski said that if you're a commissioner of insurance, you don't have a concern about pervasive incentives that can exist to holding company arrangements, MGAs, or in affiliate transactions, that you shouldn't have a job, and consistent, and it's constantly on my mind, along with about a billion other things. Jaworski said that the state has strengthened rules over the years related to monitoring, but also said companies' use of MGAs has helped draw investors to the risky insurance market, which is described as a countervailing balance. So when did this come? So the report came during a turbulent time in Florida's insurance market, with companies dropping homeowners, raising rates, and in some cases going insolvent because of financial issues. Lawmakers during the 2022 special session passed a major overhaul that included helping shield insurers from costly lawsuits and issue the industry blame for losses. So insurers are getting helped, but what about the people who are the customers? That's my question. People who are losing their insurance, people who are paying more for their insurance. So this is what they said in the podcast. And now we believe their potential that those cries were not real, that their profits were higher than expected, and potentially there was some sort of shell game being played. Now, sometimes when there's smoke, there's not fire, and hopefully that's what we find. We want to believe that everyone is an honest broker, but we do have a job to investigate that. I mean, you don't need anybody to tell you that these insurance companies are not honest brokers, because ultimately, if it's profit that's the primary motive, then of course they're going to claim, "Oh my God, we're suffering," when in reality they're flush with cash. And then they're dropping insurance for certain homeowners, or they're raising or jacking up the rates for some homeowners in Florida. And who has to bear the brunt of that? And a lot of these homeowners, where they get their rates jacked up. Well, guess what? What happens when they need to purchase food? What happens when they need to purchase, stuff for their vehicles, or would they have to pay for utilities? Because now they have to pay more for their rates. They have to pay more premiums. Then that means there's less money in their pockets. And it's all because these insurance companies, because their risk assessments are going, "Oh my God, there's too many hurricanes. There's too much flooding." when in reality it's a systemic issue called climate change. And this is why I think private insurance is a scam. And when I say private insurance, I mean all insurance. I don't think we should have any private insurance in this country at all. I don't think we should have private auto insurance. I don't think we should have private homeowners insurance. I don't think we should have private renters insurance. I don't think we should have private health insurance. I don't think we should have private life insurance. No private insurance at all. Because once you put an incentive for profit, then that means somebody's going to get railed. Somebody's going to get screwed. Somebody's going to get taken for a ride. And right now, it's many Floridians that are getting taken for a ride. And then when insurance drops some of these people, and then you get a Hurricane Milton or a Hurricane Helene, and you have no insurance, and then your house gets destroyed, then what? Then what? You have nothing. It's over. It's gone. Let's say you pay 15, 20 years into the house and you only got another 15 to 10 years to pay on it before you're finished paying it off, and your house gets destroyed. All because, and then your insurance drops you like right before. And they claim, oh, well, things are too hairy. We're in danger. And next thing you know, but you realize they made record profits. This is the insurance crisis that we're going through in Florida. So I shared some of this before, but I think it's worth going over again. It talks about the insurance crisis that we have in Florida. So let's just get a little bit of this. I'm not going to play the entire thing, but I want to play a little bit.
We got told we had to move in a hurry. Times of distress, I have a tendency to be rather sarcastic because I always say I'd rather laugh than cry. And that was kind of one of those situations where you're literally throwing all your belongings to the street at one time. You're not being evicted and your wife's not kicking you out of the house.
Maurice Gutierrez lives in Naples, Florida. His house flooded in 2022 when Hurricane Ian made landfall on the southwest coast of Florida.
One of the strongest September hurricanes to strike the U.S. in decades.
Significant storm. Again, a Category 4.
The street will never be the same. Trees gone, neighbors gone, homes are gone. And here I am today rebuilding because I won't move. I love this place.
A year later, Maurice got a notice from his insurance company. They were doubling his premium to $7,500 a year. The year after that, it was up to a staggering $9,000 a year.
Let's do the math. Let's do the math about that. Because I'm actually curious. So they raised it to $9,000 a year. That's $750 a month. Do you have $750 a month to pay for home insurance? Those of you who are homeowners? Isn't that like half of a mortgage for some people? That much? Look, the math is, the math is mathing. Take a look. $9,000 per year divided by 12 months is $750 a month. Do you have $750 a month to pay for homeowners insurance? Couple that with the price of eggs, well, see, this is why we need to start raising our own chickens. But it's ridiculous.
Now, on a fixed income retiree, That's not chump change.
So Maurice decided to drop his wind coverage. Now he's one of hundreds of thousands of Floridians that are going bare. That means they're living with little to no homeowners insurance in a state that is set to have a record hurricane season this year. And what's going on in Florida under Governor Ron DeSantis is a warning. This is what happens when a government capitulates entirely to the insurance lobby. We went to Florida to talk to other homeowners like Maurice. We found out that residents are being priced out of coastal communities, and sketchy insurance companies are thriving under DeSantis's policies.
It's essentially trickle-down economics, but for insurance companies.
And the housing insurance crisis isn't just a problem in Florida.
People around the Bay and across the state are now being told their homeowner insurance policies will not be renewed.
State Farm says they're discontinuing coverage for some customers.
Several major carriers are pulling out of Iowa and other states.
Experts warn the collapse in the homeowners insurance industry could take down the entire housing market with it.
So let's talk about that, because the thing is not just going to be limited to Florida, because yes, we have hurricanes. We are 3 months away from hurricane season starting back up again. In fact, not even 3 months. We are 2.5 months away from hurricane season. Hurricane season starts in June and it lasts until November. That's how long hurricane season is here in Florida, right? Where the tropics start, whipping up more hurricanes and tropical depressions and things like the tropical storms coming our way. But also you have many homes that are in Tornado Alley, where they get destroyed by tornadoes, right? And inclement weather. Or you have California. What do they have? A lot of wildfires, right? So with that being said, you have all these people, whether in the Midwest, whether in the West Coast, or whether in the Southeast, like here in Florida, and in some homes in places like Georgia, South Carolina, Alabama, and Mississippi, that are constantly their rates are constantly going up, because risk assessment will raise the prices because, it's more risk because the hurricanes are becoming more intense and they're becoming more frequent because of climate change. And so therefore it's making it more expensive for you. And who has to bear the brunt? You. Let's continue this a little bit more.
Those systems start to collapse, or should that business model collapse, it could take down the entire American economy with it. It could take down the global economy.
So basically, that's what we've been dealing with for the last couple of years, at least here in Florida, is that insurance rates are going up. And those of you who are renters, don't breathe a sigh of relief, because guess what? When the homeowner's insurance goes up on your landlord, guess what happens to your rent? Yup, because they're going to pass that on to you. Don't think because you're a renter that you're exempt from this. Don't think because you're a renter you're safe. Oh, no. Oh, no, bruh. You are not safe. And so if their insurance rates goes up, that means your rent goes up. Deposits go up, all this stuff. And some of us, we go to apartment communities where we're required to have renter's insurance. So who's to say that renter's insurance isn't drastically increasing their rates? Because some places you have to have renter's insurance. So this is what's going on in Florida. And yet these same insurance companies are reporting record profits. And this is going to spill over not just into Florida, but as climate change starts to intensify, it's going to spill over into Georgia. It's going to spill over into South Carolina. It's going to spill over. It's probably already happening in Louisiana. It's going, hey, it can happen in Tennessee. And what is climate change? Climate change is when the ocean waters are warming further because of the CO2, excess CO2 in the air because of pollution. And because of that, the seawater levels rise, and also the water gets warmer. And if the water gets warmer, that also means more drastic changes in our temperatures, meaning that we're going to have extremely bitter cold winters and extremely hot summers, as well as more intense hurricanes. And hurricanes can sometimes spawn tornadoes. And then on top of that, you also have areas within the middle of the country called Tornado Alley, where you may start having more stronger tornadoes. So instead of having the occasional EF1, EF2 within your little small town, you're going to start experiencing maybe more EF3s, 4s, and maybe even the occasional 5, the finger of God, that comes to your neighborhood. And if you don't have homeowners insurance because they dropped you, well, then guess what? You don't have a home anymore. And all that money that you put into it, all that equity you put into it, gone. And then guess what? You have to move out of there. And guess who buys up the land? The corporations buy up the land. And then the corporations get to build the housing on that. And then they say, well, if you always want to move back in here, you can always rent. And then we become more of a nation of renters. See how the cycle goes? The cycle? It's pretty vicious. Pretty vicious. So when it comes to what we're going through, again, what would I do? Make it all public. Absolutely. Did you know that Florida actually has a government-owned homeowners insurance program? Yes. Red state, Florida, has a government-owned homeowners insurance program. Let me show you this. Let me see. All right. Here is Citizens Property Insurance Corporation. Here's the About section. It says who we are, a purpose-driven mission. Citizens Property Insurance Corporation plays a crucial role in Florida's property insurance marketplace by providing property insurance protection to people who are in good faith entitled to obtain a coverage through the private market but are unable to do so. As one of Florida's leading insurers in Florida homes and businesses, we strive to ensure that our customers receive service that is compared to private market standards. Citizens is a not-for-profit company whose employees are driven first and foremost by our mission of service to the people of Florida. In addition to providing a quality product and service, we strive to be good stewards to the premium funds entrusted to us and are committed to modeling the highest level of ethical behavior. Our purpose-driven mission informs every action decision we make and are proud of the valuable service we provide our customers in the Florida marketplace. Okay, about section on the side. It says Citizens was created by the Florida legislature in August of 2002 as a not-for-profit tax-exempt government entity to provide property insurance to eligible Florida property owners unable to find insurance coverage in the private market. Citizens is funded by policyholder premiums. However, Florida law also requires that citizens levy assessments on most Florida policyholders if it experiences a deficit in the wake of a particularly devastating storm or series of storms. Citizens operate according to a statutory requirements established by the Florida legislature and is governed by a board of governors. The board administers a plan of operation approved by the Florida Financial Services Commission, an oversight panel made up of the governor, chief financial officer, attorney general, and commissioner of agriculture. So, if we could have this already, I say there's absolutely no reason we should have private insurance for homeowners in this state at all. Because if you have one that's government ran, that doesn't seek profit, then therefore, are your premiums going to be as high? Are your deductibles going to be as high? Private insurance is a scam. 100%. That's why I think we need a single payer homeowners insurance for the state of Florida. I think we need single payer auto insurance for the state of, not just for the state of Florida, but for the entire country. Single payer health insurance, at the very least. I think we should have a nationalized healthcare industry. But if you want to go single payer, that's a great first step. And also, if we do have a single payer auto insurance in this state, if you want to keep if you don't want that many people, if you think it may be too much money, all right, then publicize Brightline. Take it from being a private company to a public transportation, full public. Let's create high-speed rail in this state. High-speed rail that connects, Daytona, Orlando, Tampa, Miami, Jacksonville, Tallahassee. If you want to do that, all right, fine. Let's start making public transportation more available for people, and let's encourage it for all income groups to use. We literally have Walt Disney World that uses monorails all over between Epcot and Magic Kingdom, and you mean to tell me we can't imitate the same system? Oh, must be some child. Oh, baby, no. We could totally do that here in Florida. Imagine having high-speed rail that can give you from Orlando to Miami in 45 minutes. How many more people would be going to Miami from Orlando? And vice versa. Or what if you live, someplace that's kind of out the way, but you want to get to Orlando? Well, all you got to do is drive to the train station where the high-speed rail is, jump on that, and boom, you're off to the races. But yes, as far as insurance goes, I don't believe in public insurance because somebody's getting shafted. And Floridians are getting shafted. And this is the problem with capitalism. Because it concentrates all the money at the top and it holds it. And it sucks more money away from the people, from the workers, from the poor. And it keeps it there. It hoards it so that it does not, because they're thinking it trickles down, when in reality, nothing trickles down from a hoarder. Nothing. So then we're surviving on less and less and less. So I want you all to realize that this is why the system needs to be fundamentally changed. Now, I'm gonna channel my inner Roger Meadows here, right? Because if we were to have state and municipal public banks, we could use that infrastructure in order to grow the public money within the state of Florida and reinvest it into our infrastructure so that we can have better goods and services for the public. A state or municipal public bank. You guys know how banks make their money, right? Not just through fees and stuff, but the money that's in your account right now. The bank literally takes your money that's in your account. Let's say you have $100. They will take your $100, they will put it in the market. And they will put that in the market, and that $100 will grow. And let's say that $100 grows to $500, right? I'm being extreme, but it grows from $100 to $500. And now it's $500. But that $500 isn't yours. Only $100 of it is yours. The other $400, the bank keeps. But what if it was a publicly owned bank? And guess what? they would take all the money, the taxes and fees that are collected by the state, let's just say state. They would take it, they would put it in the market. Let's say it's $100 million. And they put it in the market and it grows to $500 million. That $100 million then is held for the state to use, but then they also give the other $400 million to the state to reinvest into infrastructure. This could be housing. This could be infrastructure for roads, bridges, high-speed rail. This could be for keeping our waterways and the Everglades and all these other things clean and healthy so that we can continue to hunt and fish and do all these things that we like to do here in Florida. So we can keep going to the beach and having barbecues. So we can actually still have a sustainable Florida. This could help with different programs that essentially are for the public good. Wouldn't it be worth having something like that? But what would that spell for the corporations? Doom. But they're doomed anyway. Anyways, so with that being said, yeah, I mean, we should have this, publicized. Municipalize, stationalize, nationalize. Municipalize, stationalize, nationalize. Some of these essential industries that we need to survive. And if we had housing first, healthcare for all, see what I mean? It would be helpful for everybody. Because imagine how many people after Hurricane Milton became homeless. What if we had public housing for all? Wouldn't have to worry about that, would they? So, let's continue to band together to organize, because a lot of our people here are suffering. Mutual aid that we do not only helps those who are homeless, or maybe people who are renters, but maybe somebody who owns a home, but they're also struggling too. We can help, them too. Like, you may have somebody that's like, yeah, I own this house, but I barely can afford my insurance. I can barely afford my mortgage because the rates are going up. All this other crazy stuff. And now the food prices and everything are going up. So this is why organizing our communities is so important. So yeah, that's the scam that's happening in Florida. And it's not a good one. Thank you so very much for watching my channel. And I deeply appreciate it from the top and bottom of my heart. If you wish to support the channel further, so I can keep bringing you content that is educational and informative, you can become a patron on patreon.com/JBFaunt. You can find that link in the pinned comment or in the description below. No matter what you give, you'll be supporting independent media and education that helps make the world better. Thank you so much, and you can watch more of my content here. Mwah. Forehead kisses, and have a beautiful day.